Good afternoon, Glam Girls. It's time for Get to Know Her with Glam Jewels, and I am so excited today. We have a very, very special guest, and I'm going to introduce you to her now. Her name is Dr. Liza Egbogah. You're going to get ready to meet her very shortly. And she's amazing. She is a chiropractor. She's a posture and body expert. Designer of her own shoe line. She is a multifaceted, amazing, inspiring entrepreneur, and I am so happy to have her. I am going to bring Dr. Liza on right now.
Hi.
How are you? I love your hair. I saw you on Instagram with the braids, and I was like, oh, that looks amazing.
Weekend, so
It's so magical. It's like on my screen, your hair is shimmering.
yeah, it's a lot. I'm still getting used to it, but
I love it. A change is good, especially now, eh?
yeah, until I can get back to my hairdresser.
Oh, that's great. I'm so happy you're here, Dr. Liza. This is fantastic. And you and I met, I was trying to think, I think it was 2017 in the green room at CH.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so much fun. We had like 5 minutes together and we swapped our info, and you've been so great at keeping in touch. Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. And I just love watching you and what you're doing in your business. You've got guts. Like, you do stuff that it would make me nervous.
You're an entrepreneur too, right? So whenever you're an entrepreneur, you have to take risks. And so I mean, you understand part of it.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to ask you, growing up as a little kiddo, were you always, like, you are a healer? Is that something you were born with? Like, have you heard stories of when you were a kid and you were born with these magic hands, right?
Yeah, so when I was 6, that's when I decided I wanted to be a doctor, because I thought, oh, I hear doctors heal people. And then people in my family used to call me the golden child. And my whole life, I thought it was just because I was born with blonde hair and because of my skin color, which was different from the rest of my family. But then later on, as I grew up, I realized, because one of my uncles who's passed now is one of Africa's biggest authors, Chinua Achebe. So I was reading one of his books, and in it talked about my great grandfather being the healer of the village. And so I asked my mom, I said, I didn't know our great grandfather was a healer. She's like, yes, of course. That's why we always say you have the magic hands, and that's why you have the golden child. You're the golden child because of that. I was like, nobody ever explained that to me. So I always it was because of the golden hair, but it turned out that when family, especially when I went back to Nigeria, would talk about healing hands or I'm the golden child, they were referring to it being passed down from my great grandfather, and that I was the healer.
Wow. Okay, you're giving me like goosebumps on my goosebumps.
Like, that's where it's from.
That's fantastic. Wow, what a beautiful story. And had you met your grandfather? Did you know him?
No, so this was my
or your great grandfather. Okay.
So I never met him, and then my grandfather on my mother's side, who was, I guess, his son, he passed away at 104, but I had never met him. So as a baby, I met my grandmothers and one grandfather on my dad's side, but unfortunately never got to see them later in life.
Wow.
But luckily I have my books, which is more of where I get to learn about my family's histories. And thank goodness we have an author in the family, because some of the events that happened when my parents were in Nigeria, especially because of a war, so they don't like to talk about it, right? So it's nice to be able to read about it.
Oh, that's amazing. That is fantastic. You know, I just want to quickly say I feel like we have something in common that happened in our family very recently. We were moving my mom and we found all these bills, and my mom said, "They're my mother's. You can probably just throw them out." My husband found them, and he said, "I'm going to go through them quickly, just make sure there's nothing in there you need." And they were love letters during World War II that my grandmother and grandfather had sent to each other. And just like you, they were very close. They didn't talk a lot about it. Um, and it's been such a gift to our family. Just
Oh,
like for,
that's so amazing.
yeah, it,
To go back and be able to read and put yourself at a different time.
yeah,
And, you know, when you understand where you come from and you get to read those stories,
yeah,
it really helps you to see where you're going as well.
it sure does. It's so inspiring. Yeah. That's great. So, Dr. Liza, I want to let you know this internet connection, it's pretty good. Sometimes I might freeze up or something, but don't worry, we come right back. I think it's the app that I use. Oh man. So how old is your son now?
Is 6.
Okay. And I absolutely love on social media how you're always including him, and your Instagram, he's so wonderful, and your Instagram's so great. You're always on the treadmill, and you're very dedicated to your morning routine, and he seems to be like a big part of that.
Well, he's here, right? And
Yeah.
when you take care of a child or a family, the most important thing is taking care of yourself first. And for me, as a provider, I'm used to taking care of patients, I'm used to taking care of my child. But if I don't take care of myself and include self-care as part of my daily life, there's no way I can be of use or helpful to anyone else. So years ago, I bought an elliptical, and that's one of the best things that I've ever bought, because I've pretty much used it consistently for the last 10 years.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, my son, I realized, and the businesses, I don't really have time to go to the gym, or I don't have time to spend 3 hours at the yoga studio like I used to before my son. So at least having an elliptical and having some home workout stuff has been really helpful, and just, it's good for your mental health and for the health too, right?
Yeah, definitely. You need that loosening up. And I know what you mean. It's hard with the gym because you have to account for, like, you got to drive there, and then you get there, and then you have your workout, and then you have a shower, and then you got to drive back. It's like a 2-hour event, right?
Yeah,
so it's nice when you have something at home.
Yeah. And before having a kid, I had lots of time to do that. I literally lived at the gym before. But once I had a kid, I realized I can't be living at the gym anymore. So play, if he wants to work out, dance with me, whatever, at least he's there. He's seeing that fitness and working out is important, and that mommy taking care of herself is important. So, and it doesn't bother him, right?
Oh, that's great. So speaking of taking care of yourself as an entrepreneur, one of the things I always struggle with is delegating. And you have so many facets to your second here. Sorry. You've got the Fix, you've got your shoe line, you're a regular on the social, on CTV Morning Live, on Marilyn Dennis. You've got so many different things happening, all these moving pieces. How do you sort of manage that? And are you a good delegator? Is that something you had to learn, or were you always able to do it?
The thing is, I'm not a good delegator at all, because I find that if I do delegate, oftentimes it takes me more work or time to undo that than if I had just done that myself. So my focus has been on efficiency and being as efficient as possible. So all the different facets, so the TV, the media, the articles, the shoe line, the clinic, they're all related to each other, and I try to incorporate them together. And I find that if I can be efficient with whatever task, right? So if I'm at the shoe office and they're like, okay, we have this many orders, this is the time we have to do, how can you be more efficient in doing that? When I'm writing pitches for TV shows, most of those pitches actually come from questions from my patients. So it's really all interlinked, and I let one thing feed into the other, and it works. And because I only do things that I enjoy doing and that I'm passionate about, it
Mhm.
doesn't feel like work. So if I'm up and I'm writing something and it's, getting late, for me, I don't look at it as, oh, I'm working. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm enjoying this, right? Like I love
Yeah.
running shoes. I love helping out my patients. I love going on TV and educating and writing articles. So I only do stuff that I love, and that's why it doesn't feel like work. Some of the stuff I write, it's while I'm on my elliptical. I'll be writing away.
Oh, that's so great. I remember hearing Alicia Keys say that whenever she makes a decision in her business, she asks herself, if I was not getting paid for this, would I do it? Like, forget the money, all that stuff. Does it make me feel good? And that's how, so it sounds like you're the same. It's like, it's got to feel authentic. It's got to feel good.
Well, the thing is,
And
how
that's,
can you do so many things if you don't actually enjoy it? If I
mm-hmm,
see them all as jobs, does it really make sense? And how could I have 3 full-time jobs, right? So I look
mm-hmm.
at them as all things that I enjoy. I try to incorporate them into each other, and I have fun doing it, which is why with my shoe line, I incorporated pop-ups because I love to travel. So, I'd go travel, stay at a hotel, have the
Yeah.
pop-up, do some media there. And for me, it was fun, but it was productive.
Oh, that's great. I was watching one of your videos yesterday on your YouTube channel. You have so many great tips on there.
Oh yeah, I try to upload the videos from segments because so many people
They're,
don't watch TV anymore, right?
yeah, no, they're great. And there was one where I think you were in California and you said, we're going to sit like a dog.
Oh yeah.
And you put the ears on and the tail. Oh, so, and you know what? I've been doing that like for the last, I don't know, 24 hours. Every time I sit, I'm like, you have a tail. Get your posture. And what a difference.
It makes a huge difference. And when
Yeah.
it comes to the kind of material that I'm delivering, whether it's about posture or doing your exercises, most people find that stuff quite bland, and they don't really, so it doesn't, you have to make it exciting or interesting or funny or something just to get people engaged so that they remember it and then they're doing something, whether it's dance moves for back pain or this for that, and they feel good about doing it. It's entertaining to them, but then it's also really helpful for them.
Yeah, it's really helpful. And the posture is something, I mean, now with our COVID crisis and all of that stuff, holy smokes. And I also caught your do not sit on the couch thing. I'm like, my husband says that to me all the time. And I'm like, uh-oh, if I tell him Dr. Liza said it, he's really going to. But yeah, terrible. And one thing you said that was so interesting that I never thought about is that you're depleting oxygen, like with this hunched over.
Well,
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest problems because I have, like when I'm in clinic, so many patients who, when they fill out the intake form and they report having anxiety, they report having asthma, they report getting short of breath, and never do they think that any of that is related to their posture. But almost every single time someone comes into my clinic and they have anxiety or asthma, their shoulders are rolled in, they're hunched in. When I come out to the waiting room, I see them literally curved into a C. And then after their treatment, they're like, oh, it's weird. I kind of feel like I'm breathing better. I feel like my anxiety is eased. And for some, after, a couple of treatments, they feel like they don't need to actually take their medication for anxiety because they're not feeling that. And they didn't realize it was because they're closed in and not letting their lungs open. And what happens if your body's not getting enough oxygen is it actually sends feedback back to your brain saying, I'm not getting enough oxygen. It goes into panic mode, and then your body starts taking these shallow breaths, and that can lead to anxiety because your body thinks that you're under a state of fight or flight.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's important the way that you look, it's important the way that you feel, it's important in the way your body functions, and even in the way people perceive you. So if you have
Yeah.
better posture, so your shoulders are back, your shoulders are down, you're standing up tall, people see you as more confident, they trust you more. And if they see you slouched over, they think, oh, this person is more negative. This person doesn't know what they're doing. This is not a person who should be in a leadership position. So go into an interview like this versus like this, and it's a person who's like this who's going to get the job.
Wow.
Date in the dating world, yeah, posture has a facet in literally every single part of your life.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, I was going to ask you also with this on this topic, women who are in perimenopause, like that's my scene right now. It's so fun. So anyway, and I have been like, I've noticed that I have like, there are times of the month where maybe I would have been getting my period that I get, instead of getting my period, I just get anxious, and my body just feels like it's like, woof, like it wants to curl up in a ball and come back when it's feeling better, right? So you must treat women who are going through that, I'm sure.
Absolutely. The thing is, we are all, whether we like to admit it or not, we're all under so much stress and tension. Our body, especially as women, is constantly going through those hormonal changes. And our hormones and our posture are actually intimately linked. So when you are in poor posture, it literally changes the release of hormones in your body. So we release more stress hormones like cortisol when we are in, and that's one of your main stress hormones, when we're in a bad posture, versus when we're in a good posture, we tend to release endorphins and testosterone. So what happens when you can almost play with your body and your mind a little bit, because when you're feeling more stress and your body's feeling more stress because of those cycles and hormones, you'll be like, oh, my body is not feeling this good, so I'm going to go into this, and you're going to perpetuate that cycle. But you can break the cycle and say, oh, you want me to do that, so I'm going to reverse that. And you know what? Within 20 to 30 minutes, you're going to notice that you feel better, because that's how long it'll take your body to switch it up and say, we're going to stop with the cortisol. We're going to start releasing the endorphins. So I try all the time. As soon as I get down to when I find myself, I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah. Get back up. Oh,
I take you down.
That's so great. This is so timely, because I was just talking to a couple of my girlfriends last week about all this, and, you know, talking to doctors about hormone replacements or maybe a mild antidepressant and all this. But I've always believed, I mean, there's nothing wrong with those things. I think there's, you know, a need for that too. But I've always believed in, like, how can I control this myself in any way that I can? And I never, ever, ever, ever thought of posture.
And I mean, to be mindful though, when it does come to the effect that posture has on hormones, it's not a large effect, right? So you need to see your doctor. They still may have recommendations for supplementation or hormone replacement therapy or something else. But by affecting your posture, it might just, you know, if it reduces the dosage that you have to take, if it reduces the amount of medical intervention that you need, then that's great. But unfortunately, changing your posture is not a substitute for any kind of hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try the posture thing. No more hunching over on the couch, I promise.
And, you know, just be mindful of when you do have to do work on the computer, and especially for you, because you're doing hands-on work as well, to be mindful of your setup, so that your setup encourages good posture as well.
Yeah.
Right. And of course you can sit on the couch. I mean, how do I watch TV? I sit on the couch to watch TV. But the key is, when you're on the couch, you need to be changing positions. So say you're lying on the couch and you're lying on this side for a while, then for the other time you might want to lie on this side, you know, or if you find yourself twisted one way, then you want to contract it and twist the other ways. And it's really just about creating balance in your body. Because of course we're going to sit on the couch. Sometimes we're going to work on the couch.
Yeah.
Right?
Eat dinner on the couch, everything. Oh God. So, sorry, my little screen just froze up here. So I would love to hear about your celebrity stuff too. Like you've met some pretty big stars.
Yeah, so I can tell you
And
how that all got started.
yeah.
So I opened my first clinic in 2008. And, in the first 2 years, you had some celebrities come in, but it was just like one here, one there. But then in 2010, I had an actor who came in to see me. And you know how you have those people who are the whales? Like they go and they tell everybody
Yeah.
about you and about your business.
Yeah.
So he was the whale. So when he'd go back to set, people would be like, "Oh, what did you just go do? I mean, you look taller, you look better. Like, did you go for some kind of like cosmetic thing?" He's like, "Oh no, I saw my chiropractor. She fixed me up. She's awesome." So then he would refer the people from set to come in and see me. And then when those actors were back in town, then they would refer people to see me. When he was filming anything and he heard, if no matter where he was, if he heard someone was filming in Toronto, he's like, you have to go see her. So he kind of started that whole thing. And then the hotels started to hear that, oh, she's the go-to person for our celebrities and VIPs. So when they would have a VIP or a celebrity, they would call me to go to the hotel to fix them up. Because as a hotel, if you send someone to see one of your guests, you're liable for that person. So you
Oh,
have implicit trust and know for sure that they're going to do a good job, right? Because if
right.
I were to be called to a hotel and messed up someone who is worth a gazillion dollars and they couldn't go film what they needed to film or do their concert, then that would be a huge issue for the hotel. So
Right.
with Hollywood, once you gain that trust and they know that you're a trusted person who does good work, and actors especially, they're very big on energy, right? So they're
Yeah.
like, she has really good energy too. She knows what she's doing. So once they trust you, then they'll refer, and that's how that all started.
Oh, amazing. So is there anyone you've met where you were like totally starstruck?
You know what? I have never
Oh.
been one to get starstruck
Yeah,
because
is there anyone? Sorry, we froze there.
oh, I'm not someone who gets starstruck. Oh, are you frozen still?
Yeah, we're back. We're unfrozen.
I don't really get starstruck, and I think that's why
Okay.
I'm able to build so many up as patients. Because when people are growing up, some people look up to actors and they look up to
hmm
musicians, and they're in awe of them. For
Yeah.
me, my parents that I looked up to, I'm like, oh, these people are amazing people. And I was never like a big movie buff so for me,
Yeah.
I just saw them as regular people. Some of them, like when they wrote actor on the thing, I would have to Google and be like, oh, they've been on everything. They've been in everything.
Oh, great.
The only time that I let out some kind of sign was the first time I met Idris Elba.
Yeah.
But then that time, I was like, like the novelty wore off.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
There's one where I was just like, oh,
Oh, it's you. Okay. Oh, that's funny. A few years ago, I participated in the Much Music Video Awards. Well, it's a bit like a decade ago now. And same kind of thing. Like, actually, for me, I was such a rock star person as a kid, like growing up. I was starstruck by any rock star. So I was so nervous. But
teenager, but oh yeah, it faded.
yeah. Yeah. And so then I do this gift lounge in my 30s and I'm like, oh God, I'm going to meet this person and the Black Eyed Peas were there and all these. But then you're right. It didn't take long to just be like, this is so cool. These are regular people and we're just having fun, hanging out.
The first time, like I miss those days. Like I remember the first time I went backstage to do treatments for Brandy, Sean Paul, and Genuine. I was so excited because I'm like, these are like the people of my teenage years, like
Yeah.
the music that I listened to. I know the words to the music. Like I was so excited. I was like, Brandy, oh my gosh.
Oh,
And it was, that for me, that was the most exciting because you literally have their music on your phone,
yeah.
and then here you are treating them back with them, and you're just like, how did I get here?
Yeah. Wow.
And then that I was never able to go to a concert. So like once you have this backstage intimate, you're like, I can't go into the crowd anymore. Like I need to with the action, I need to be.
Yeah. I need to be in the after party, all that stuff. That's good.
So that was very, very exciting for me.
Oh, I'll bet.
Backstage. I mean, when I pulled up to go to the backstage, they're like, "Oh, no, you need to go around to the thing." I'm like, "No, but I'm here for the thing." And they thought I was like some kind of groupie. And then,
really?
Yeah. And Dr. Liza, like they're expecting me. They're like, no, go around to the thing, because they couldn't even hear the doctor part. Because most people, when they look at me, they're like, "You're not a doctor. They thought I was a groupie." And then I had to literally pull out the email and show them. He's like, "Oh, you're Dr. Liza." I'm like, "That's what I've been saying."
Oh man.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, that's so crazy. And you've done some gift lounges with your shoe line, right?
So
Have you?
when I started with the gift lounge thing is in 2015 or 2016. One of my after patients was like, "You know what we really need when we're here for a tip? We need like a mini fix." And I was like,
Oh yeah.
I can look into that and see how we can do that. And so that's when I went to my first gift lounge, and that was just actually to provide treatments. That was before I had my shoe line.
Yeah.
Then, so we did it for 2015, 2016. And then when it came to 2017, I contacted them. I'm like, "Oh, what's going on with your gift lounge this year?" And they said, "Oh, we're going to be moving it off-site." And I'm like, because during TIP and stuff, I work with these stars personally. Like I'll go to their hotels and I know how tight their schedules are. I'm like, if you go off-site, none of the A-listers are going to be able to come because they don't control their schedule. It's actually the publicists who control the schedule.
Oh, yeah.
So if they tell the publicist, "Listen, I just need to stop by and see Dr. Liza. She's right here where we're doing Vanity Fair," then the publicist was like, "Okay, cool. We'll make time for that." But if you say they have to get in a car and go off site when they have interviews and their job is to promote the movie, it's not going to happen. So this was 3 weeks before TIFF, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what are we going to do?" And I'm like, "You know what? I'll do my own lounge." So
nice.
one day I got the major sponsor,
Yeah.
called the hotel, booked a room, and I was like, "You know what? Doesn't hurt. Like we'll just try. We'll see how it goes." And that first year we had George Clooney, Angelina Jolie, Nicolas Cage, Idris Elba. Literally every single A-lister who came for TIP came to our lounge. Like in our lounge, a reunion of like every A-lister you could think of, all in one room. Like Kate Winslet was at the candy bar. It just was talking to this person. George Clooney, like it was just crazy.
Oh my God. And how do you feel in that moment? Like you must just be buzzing. You must be so proud. You just look around and you created that. Like you created that.
And I had to do it myself. And then we're in Toronto Life, we're in all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know how this happened.
Wow. That's so great.
Yeah, so it worked out to be really, really awesome. And so then we've done it. So we did it 2017, 2018, 2019. Obviously this year, most likely not.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's amazing. You've got I love how you flow in your life. Like things are happening. And And I think a lot of that goes back to the healing hands and the consciousness of the body and the well-being. You allow good things to come to you.
And it's the energy that you put out, right? So like
Yeah.
we're talking about being starstruck. If I was like, oh my gosh, all those things, they wouldn't just into my lounge because I'm the one who bring them. But when they say, okay, this is good energy, this is good person, like we're safe here, we're comfortable here, we can relax here, then they come on in and enjoy and relax. And especially when you already know some of them, they'll tell their friends, oh yeah, like yeah, come, it's cool, it's Dr. Liza thing.
Yeah, it's safe. Come on in. Good. Oh, that's so great. So your shoe line.
Yes.
Beautiful shoes. Oh my God.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
I launched the official launch was in March 2017, so a little over 3 years. And what started that off is, I guess 2 years before then, in 2015, one of my patients who was a director at Hudson's Bay, so I'd been seeing her for a while, but one day she just came in and she like looks at me, she's like, I like your outfit. And she's like, and you know what? You're going to be the one who's actually going to design a beautiful high heel that's comfortable, because that's what we need. And I was like, okay, sure. I didn't think much of it at that time. And then like a couple weeks later, I'm like, why? Yeah, I should design it. You know, I'm like, I know everything that goes into it. I've been treating women for high heel related pain for over 10 years. I've been doing orthotics for 10 years. I've been modifying orthopedic shoes for 10 years. I know exactly what needs to go into it. And I myself wear designer shoes and I can't find a comfortable heel. So I know what it needs to look like and I know what it needs to feel like. So I need to do it. So the first thing I had to do was learn to draw, because I didn't know how to draw. Like drawing a shoe and that design is actually very hard. So when I look back at some of my initial sketches, I was like, what is that? So, and then I was able to find, just through talking to people, that I need to find someone who could help me, like a consultant, to help me find a factory to produce the shoes. And that's where it all kicked off. And the other thing that she said was that, when you design the shoe, I will make sure your shoe is in every Hudson's Bay. So I was like, okay, this is awesome. So in March 2017, she was like, okay, so I need your buyer's kit so I can send it. I have a meeting with the big ups, right? Because at that time they had taken over Saks and a bunch of other things, right? So she had to meet with the big ups. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. So I sent it to her, and then after meeting, I'm like, how did it go? She's like, yeah, they fired me. I was like, ooh, okay.
Oh boy.
I had done this whole thing banking on the Bay, right? So I was like, okay, well, I guess if there's no Bay, I'll just sell it online. And you know what? It's been doing so well online that I haven't needed to go into any stores. So I said, what I'll do is, if the right fit for the right store, because with these kind of shoes, there's an educational process that goes along with it, and customer service to help people find the right one. So if the right store or brand approaches me, then by all means. But so it's doing well online, so I'm staying online for now.
Great. Oh, that's fantastic. It's so good. And then you have more control over it. You can get your messaging out there. Yeah, exactly. I think that's good.
Once someone finds like their right sizing, then they know their size, right? And that's when I started doing the pop-ups, so that I could go around cities and people would have the chance to actually try them on and ask me questions personally.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're someone who's looking for comfortable heels, you don't have any foot problems, you're fine, you can just order it. But some people have specific questions like, I have bunions, I have this, I had this surgery, which of these do you think would work for me? Would it work for me? And then I'm personally there to advise them. And my favorite part is I actually get to meet them. All right? Like I love, love, love meeting the women.
Sorry, Dr. Liza. Here we are. We're back.
Okay.
Freezing up. So somebody's just asking, are your shoes considered orthopedic?
They are. So if
Yeah.
you have, so they're non-custom orthopedic shoes. So
Okay.
they can fall under, like if you're looking for insurance coverage, they can go under your health spending account, or if you have coverage for stock or non-custom orthopedic shoes, you can fall under that as well. And then if you email us, then and ask about your insurance company, or we do pre-authorizations as well. So then you can send it to your insurance company, and then they'll send you a response about whether they'll cover them or not.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
people have been great because they've been able to use their health spending account, and literally people will write in and say, I know this is really weird, but I literally think your shoes fixed my whole body because I don't have foot pain, I don't have back pain when I wear your shoes. So it feels
Oh,
like you fix
that's
some more people with shoes.
yeah, that's great. That's so great. And you had, I know when you first came out with your shoe line, you had a nude pair and a black pair, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
And now, I mean,
yeah.
I don't even know how many I have. They're in pretty much every color. It started out with just those two pumps, but now, so those higher pumps have over 20 colors in them. Then the next year, I launched the sneaker pump, which was a shorter version, a 2-inch heel. And then the year after that, I launched the flats. And and then later that year, I launched the Dr. Liza booty, which was a 2-inch booty. And then a couple months later, I launched the first Dr. Liza flat, which is a flat but with support. And then the Dr. Liza 2.0, which is essentially a fusion between the pump and the booty. And then, they should be here next week, will be the Dr. Liza sandal, and we're doing printed leather. And when it comes to introducing new styles, it's all from requests from current customers. That's
Great.
the pop-ups. I get to meet them, I get to know them, and they'll send suggestions and be like, oh, you should have a booty. No problem. We'll have a booty. Oh, we need an open-toe sandal. No problem. I'll design an open-toe sandal. Oh, we need flats too. No problem. We want leopard print. You got it.
Wow. That's so great. You're really saving the world with the world's feet because one thing I say to myself I will never do every summer is I will not take the dog for a walk in flip-flops. I won't wear flip-flops. I know they're bad for me, and I'm wearing flip-flops right now. They're so the sandals, I'm so excited that you're doing that because we got to get out of these flip-flops, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, some people, they take wearing flip-flops for granted, that they can actually wear flip-flops and not be in excruciating pain. So myself, I have horrible feet. It's genetic. We're all serious overpronators. We have bunions. If I go on holiday and I were to wear flip-flops for a day, the next morning I would barely be able to stand on my feet. Or like those teak shoes that can bend, those flats.
Yeah.
If I wear those, I'm essentially crippled. So one of the reasons why these shoes were so important to me is because for someone who has foot problems, doesn't have perfect gait, has bad knees, if you wear those flip-flops, if you wear those bad shoes, it literally causes you pain, right? And you're damaging your body. So I thought we as women should be able to look good. We should be able to wear stylish shoes without hurting ourselves, right? Because most shoe lines are designed by men, first of all. So it's all about the aesthetic. It's not about health. It's not about how we feel. It's not about the effects on the body. And then other orthopedic shoe lines are usually designed by podiatrists, or they have input from podiatrists. Podiatrists only look at the feet, right? But when it comes to our feet, they're the base of support for our whole body. So what we put on our feet affects our knees, it affects our hips, it affects our back. And a lot of people, if they wear the wrong shoes or shoes without support, they'll have back pain. An easy fix for that is wearing shoes with support or an orthotic, and then they don't have back pain. So you can't the feet. It's always the body has to be looked at together. If it's in good alignment, good posture, then you'll feel better, you'll move better. And in the meantime, you can look good too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it feels so good when you have like a pair of shoes on that are supporting you and you feel stylish, and it's huge. We need that. And there isn't really anything out there. So thank you.
Liza Shoes.
Yeah, exactly. You have the monopoly. I love it. That's so great. So I thought we froze again. Sorry about that. So I was going to ask you another question too about posture stuff. And it's for my mom. My mom is 80 and she's just moved into a condo from the house that we grew up in. So after 50 years, she's there now. And it's a beautiful condo, but the kitchen counters are too low. And she has a real struggle. She has arthritis in her lower back. And it's just hard for her, like cutting her veggies and stuff. So she'll walk with her veggies and everything across the room to the dining room table, and she'll sit and do her chopping there. But she's got a little chair. I just wondered if there was anything else she could be doing.
Well, see, that's smart that she doesn't make herself suffer through the pain and hunch over and chop vegetables when she knows it's uncomfortable. So taking it, sitting over and doing it on the table is a great thing. If she prefers to stand, she can actually get the same kind of riser that you would use for a monitor. And they're usually about like $20 at Staples or any of these office stores. And you can put your cutting board on that so that you can actually increase the space if you want to spend less time sitting and more time standing. So just because your counter is low doesn't mean that you can't get a riser, or if you have something that like maybe some old boxes that you can use or books or something where you could prop the cutting board up on, you can prop it up to a level that, where you can be chopping without bending over. So that's a good option as well, because you also don't want to be sitting too much, especially when you can vary between sitting and standing.
Yeah, that's great. And my mom always, like, since I've been a little kid, her back's always bugged her, and she's always had a footstool in the kitchen where she's got one leg up to support her back.
Well, so the thing is, if you are using a stool or you feel like you have to prop your leg up or shift yourself to one side, that often means that you do have an imbalance. And most people do have an imbalance between the left and the right because we tend to have a dominant side. So if you do have that imbalance, wearing, supportive footwear at home can also be helpful. And if you see a provider like an osteopath or chiropractor or someone who can really assess, you may also have like a little bit of a leg length inequality where the legs are slightly different lengths, not structurally, but just from over time, dominance pulling you in one direction. So putting a little lift in your shoe, like a heel lift, can help. And going barefoot at home, if you have perfect gait, perfect posture, perfect feet, that's okay. But if you're going to be on your feet, it's a good idea to wear supportive slippers or sandals or even your runners at home too.
Oh, that's such a great tip. Yeah, really good. And it's a great tip too, because my mom, she was seeing an osteopath, but now of course she can't go, right? So those are great tips for anybody who's used to, regular chiropractic care, seeing an osteopath. Like, we have to figure out a way to take care of ourselves right now, and we can't have that hands-on manipulation.
Yeah, and if you do self-care, which is why I have this section on my website called educational material, and so much self-care stuff, because with a lacrosse ball, with foam rollers, with a broom, there's so many things you can do. And, during this time, get to be your own osteopath or chiropractor.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. So those tips, Dr. Liza, are they on your Dr. Liza website, or are they on the Fix?
They're on the Dr. Liza website.
They are. Okay, good. Because I'll
called educational material.
Okay.
All educational material for you.
Oh, that's perfect. I'll post it here after. That's so great. Oh, this has been such an amazing conversation.
Yes.
It's been really great to get to know you better. Yeah, so nice to chat. It's too bad we have this little delay in our thing, but we manage, right? Do you find it frustrating doing television now over Zoom, or is it tough? Or
so for like the live hits, like when I do the news, for me it's great because I don't have to like drive anywhere. I can just like get up and then I just have to go downstairs. But recently I just had to do a segment for the social, and that was a 3-day process because one day I had to do all the makeup, do all the hair, then shoot B-roll. The next day, set everything up for rehearsals, and then the day after shoot it live. But then you have to make sure the setup is right with the host and the connection. It was like a 3-day process, which I think quick, we can normally just go in, get it done, and come out. So
Yeah.
that was the only way I was like, oh, this is a lot extra work.
Oh, but you adapt. That's so great.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come out great. So
yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna look quickly if there's any questions for you here. There people are so the Laura Bell was asking about she had the question about whether the shoes were orthopedic. So she said, totally going to do that. Love your bubblegum flats.
Oh, yeah.
I got to look at those.
So comfortable. But just a warning, if you start getting into them, like you might get addicted. So.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, we all need Dr. Liza Shoes for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, thank you so much for your time. And I'd love to invite you to a little Instagram after party in about 5 minutes. Okay. If you're good with that.
Instagram live?
Yeah. So I'll go live on Glam Jewels and then you'll see that I'm live and then you just request to join from your phone is great.
I'll be there.
Okay. I can't wait. Thanks, Dr. Liza. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. That was so fantastic. I've been really looking forward to talking to Dr. Liza. I hope you got some great tips. And we also got to know her story about her great-grandfather and her healing hands and her golden hair. Just beautiful. So thank you so much for being here to listen. And I hope you can share this video with all your friends. And if you do have a moment, please join us on Instagram Live and we're going to have a little after party. Take care and have a wonderful day.